Hello and welcome, I'm your host KB and you're watching the Retrospective. Following the success of the 1984 smash hit Gremlins, they decided to follow it up 6 years later with a sequel titled Gremlins 2: The New Batch.
We told you the rules.
Oh, the rules.
Remember the first one?
1, you can't get them wet.
But you didn't listen.
2,
Don't let them get exposed to bright light, especially sunlight.
We made it very clear.
And the third one is don't let them,
3.
But you got confused.
All right, let's go over everything again, all right?
Now, they're back. Wilder.
Well, it's rather brutal here. We're advising our clients to put everything they've got into canned food and shotguns.
Tougher. And scarier.
If these things get out of the building, then that is it for New York.
Gremlins 2. The New Batch.
Much like its predecessor, Gremlins 2 was once again helmed by Joe Dante, but this time was penned by Charlie Haas. No, not that Charlie Haas, I mean the screenwriter Charles S. Haas. Sadly enough, this film starts with the death of Mr. Wing, the antique store owner from the first film. This is after an encounter with Clamp Enterprises executives who are wanting to purchase his store so they can do a new development of Chinatown. After Mr. Wing's death, the store is then purchased and torn down to develop Mr. Clamp's new vision of Chinatown. Gizmo manages to escape the destruction, but is soon caught by two creepy twin scientists who take him back to Clamp Enterprises' office building to experiment on him. Billy soon discovers that Gizmo's in the building after hearing that familiar Mogwai song being whistled by Tuco from Breaking Bad, and shortly after manages to track him down where the two are once again reunited. After Billy leaves Gizmo alone in his office, Gizmo manages to pop out and have a look at his surroundings. This leads to Gizmo getting wet and the creation of another motley crew of Mogwai, this time with Mohawk taking charge in place of Stripe. After this new group of Mogwai are created, they trap Gizmo in the building's air ventilation system. They then sneak down to the building's food court for a little after midnight snack. Shortly thereafter, a new batch of Gremlins is created and set to wreak havoc on Manhattan. What's noticeably different in this movie is the different characteristics, looks, and voices given to the bad Mogwai, both before and after transformation. We also see a few different mutations to the Gremlins. This is due to them consuming different chemicals which are located in the office tower's lab. Our main antagonist, Gremlin Mohawk, also gets an upgrade in what is easily one of the more creepy parts of the movie, when he's turned into a giant gremlin arachnid hybrid. The first film plays up both its horror and comedy elements. This film plays more for laughs. The Gremlins in the first movie, while still mischievous, were darker in tone. Here, they're more goofy and not so menacing. Also, this movie is a lot more self-aware, with it often making fun of itself, especially in scenes like where Billy is explaining the rules of the Mogwai to office workers who are blatantly picking holes in the logic. And again when Kate is cut off while trying to give an odd story about why she hates Lincoln's birthday, much like her Christmas speech in the original film. In an unconventional scene during the middle of the movie, the Gremlins break the fourth wall. This is designed to give the illusion of the Gremlins interrupting the movie and the movie watching audience. This includes some odd cuts, and even a scene with Hulk Hogan standing up in the movie theater and threatening the Gremlins into resuming the movie. I wasn't aware of this scene as a kid, being that I never actually saw the film in theaters. I managed to see and tape the movie when it aired on TV, and they had a different cut in which it felt like the Gremlins were messing with the TV channel instead of the film projector.
Just tell us what you saw.
Overall, the plot and storytelling here is competent and enjoyable, but the originality of the first movie is lost here. The acting here is solid, and it's nice to see the characters of Billy and Kate return and to see how their relationship has grown. They act alongside a mostly new cast, which includes horror icon Christopher Lee, who plays the lab's lead scientist, and John Glover as the eccentric and energetic Daniel Clamp. But I feel these characters merely serve as secondary players to the stars of the picture, which are the Gremlins, and that's why to me the story doesn't feel as compelling as the original outing. The production values in this movie feel much higher, and that's likely due to the estimated $50 million budget this movie had, as opposed to the original movie, which had an estimated $11 million budget. The puppetry and animatronics of the Gremlins is all top notch, and the effects still hold up today. It's especially strong in scenes such as the Gremlins soundstage replication and also the lab transformation sequences. I feel the Gremlins are given more life here, as they are filmed in a way that hides the limitations of the puppetry. And this is likely due to Joe Dante's gained experience in filming the first movie. And once again, Jerry Goldsmith returns to give us another amazing and memorable score, which really brings the film together. Once again, Howie Mandel and Frank Welker return to voice the parts of Gizmo and Mohawk. Gizmo is just as cute and even more empathetic, having been poked and prodded by scientists, bullied by his Mogwai spawn, and even dealt the loss of his longtime owner, Mr. Wing. Unlike the first movie, Gremlins 2 was seen as a big disappointment. This is due to the soft box office returns, as well as the mixed reviews from both critics and fans alike. This, mixed with the overinflated budget, would mean that we wouldn't see another sequel in what was hoping to be a lucrative franchise. All critiques aside, I think this is a great movie, and I personally love this movie just as much as the original. And if I'm being honest, I probably watched the new batch more than the original as a kid. As with the original film, there was a massive merchandising blitz, and it included toys and a fairly successful video game which was released by Sunsoft.
This game has awesome graphics that seem to come alive on the screen. Gremlins 2, the new batch from Sunsoft.
The current status of the franchise is unknown. There has been rumours for years about a possible reboot for the series, but I'm not really interested in seeing that. There's also been whispers about a possible Gremlins 3, which would be a direct sequel, with Zach Galligan even coming out and saying that it was in the works. But other than that, there hasn't been an official word.
Gremlins 2, the new batch. Coming soon to a theater near you. Maybe.
Once again, thanks very much for watching the show. Please remember to hit like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of The Retrospective.